It's about connection. And I truly believe this is what, on a global scale, we're being called into.
Me
Is
too.
connection.
Me too.
Connection to the earth, connection to each other, to the energy. I mean, all of us empaths, because I'm going to assume we all are, in this chat. Yesterday I woke up, I could barely get out of bed. My head was so heavy. I had such a headache. Like it was just this feeling of like dread and like, what is this cloud? And I know it's connected to all like, and even more so now with the way information travels, but even not connected to the information, a knowing of something that's in the air, right? So, and for me, as somebody who doesn't fit many boxes very easily, my own experience of trauma as a student in my graduate school and being encountered with completely racist education, going to the library and looking at the history of what tells me why people who look like me are less intelligent, which was what I was being taught. And seeing over the ages, like the same message, different data to support the narrative, and having a breakdown in the library, thinking I'm so new to this, and look at what did I sign up for here? And then doing all the work and all the labor and trying to get people to look at their biases and and having all these like, oh yeah, no, it's supportive, and yet nothing changed. So for me, I wake up to that and go, all right, well, I'm here. These people, let me take everything I can, because I have to make it so that I can just throw it in like it needs to be destroyed. So for me, there is a call for our own schools, institutions to look at itself. And until they can recognize the damage that they've perpetuated with studies that are based on privileged white kids in university, that's most of our knowledge base is that, let's be honest, right? It is iterated in clinical sense, but a lot of it, when we take a minuscule piece and just study that, and only if you have this and just this, and it doesn't, it tells us something, but it doesn't tell us everything. So there needs to be that reckoning for all the systems, all the ways, right? And looking like, how is it that every higher learning institution in Western society is this patriarchy right there? So it's part of, as much as it is supposed to be caring for the soul, I would say no. It's about keeping the system going. We deal with norms. You're either on the curve, you're off the curve. If you're off the curve, heaven forbid. Can we talk about the beauty of being off the curve? My God, in a different type of society, we might say, you wise seer, let us understand like how you are. You can see you have this sensitivity that is so incredible. You're a truth teller. Okay, so you be you, you show us. We may need to help you with some things. We would have a totally different way of approaching what's not so-called normal.
Right.
Right. And I know for myself, being open and curious, I think my first guru was the woman I volunteered with for, a client of the Canadian Mental Health Association, would be considered borderline intelligence, paranoid schizophrenia. I met with her once a week. We had coffee, we hung out. And this one story of this woman who'd been raped, had children taken away from her, tons of trauma. And she's telling me the story of just being in the bus station in Hamilton, and it's cold and it's wet and it's raining. And there's this young girl, likely a prostitute, not much on. And she takes off her jacket. She gives it to her because that could be her daughter. That's my guru right there.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we need to bring humanity back to everything. And we have to look at ourselves. We have to look at our institutions, and we have to own the ways in which we perpetuated the illness. it's iatrogenic. From my perspective, most of mental illness is iatrogenic, and it's a sick culture.
Yeah.
We're creating it. So
Yeah.
we're part of the creation, we're part of the solution. We have to really take a quick look. And I think it's outside of it. We know it's hard to see yourself. You need to have a mirror to see something different in order to see what you can't see. So it's these other ways that are going to show us, oh wow, like that's, yeah, you're right. Let me try. Oh, okay. And there'll be a beautiful combination because there's every side has something to contribute. And that is the way forward with respect. Like we don't need to destroy the whole thing, but can we have respect, and go with humility? And there's something beautiful, I think, can emerge from that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, not destroy the whole thing per se.
Well, there's some things will be left behind, but
Right.
an openness, but we can go with respect, right? It's the difference between going and saying, I know nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
as opposed to, yeah. And also give respect when you are taking or borrowing, give respect to where that comes from.
Right. Right. And I think also going back to what you said about the beautiful destruction, that's also a piece that some things really do have to go. Some structures that we like even.
Yeah. It's served for a while. It's just like the
That's
individual experience is the same as the whole.
Mm-hmm.
It's one and the same.
You're really, I don't know if you're aware of this, but I'm thinking of Carl Jung talking about before the war was having dreams of Europe washed in blood because he was so in service to his dreams and his deep inner life, and we'd call it now a meditation and mindfulness practice. And I think the more we are attuned with that, the more we're attuned also to the collective, like your headache. You know, what's going on inward, what's going on outward. So there's that dance that we're involved in and maybe even expected to have some leadership in. Who knows?
And I'll give you another little analogy that blew my mind. Again, the microcosm, the smallest thing illustrates the whole. This is where we can get a little transcendent. So travel with me. I have a friend who's now an artist, started out as a biologist. She is a biologist. She's both. She just got fascinated at stem cells. She'd watch them all day long. She was cultivating them and she dyed them and she started taking photographs and she watched them and how they moved and how they have a skeletal system and they kind of create communities. And she's like, they're just like people. They're just like people. And like when she was telling me about this, I'm like, I got chills. I'm like, oh my gosh, like these essence, the beginnings of our lives that are called to different parts of the body whenever needed, can be anything. It's part of when we heal, when we get a cut. That's how it heals. They go there and they help heal. And like, what if we think we're actually individuals here, but we're not? Like we're all just kind of connected, brought here to heal something. Like, and then I'm like, okay, you're getting
No, that's right on. That's right on. That's the new earth. That's the new consciousness. We're all being called to the whole.
But these individuals really, but like have a purpose, and we're all connected. Like we're all part of this larger thing.